Earlier this year, before the lockdown kicked in, we decamped to Manchester's Into Trafford Centre for one of our favourite events of the year.
I've never been on television before.
Well, you're about to be now.
It's the Rip Off Britain pop-up shop.
Oh, you're lovely. Look, that's the camera. Say hello.
You sound extremely sensible.
Do I?
And rather patient, but also quite strong-minded.
Well, as always for us, it's absolutely brilliant to be able to meet so many of you face-to-face, coming into our pop-up shop, all with issues. But the best thing about it is that you can get those issues solved on the spot.
Kevin Ashley has come to see consumer expert Martyn James about a problem with a pet insurance claim after his dog Cooper wasn't well.
We noticed he was very lethargic, not his usual bouncy self. Cockapoos are very lively generally, so we knew something wasn't right.
And what did the vet say to you?
He had a feel around of his tummy. Cooper reacted when he touched certain areas, so he had x-rays and scans, and they deemed that he had a blockage in his intestine. And the only way to resolve it was to operate, to see what the blockage was and put it right.
Kevin had recently taken out brand new pet insurance cover for Cooper, which, like many such policies, won't pay out for any treatment given in the first 14 days of the policy. Luckily, their visit to the vet came 16 days into it. But even then, Kevin wanted to make doubly sure.
We got in touch with the insurance company just to make sure that we were covered, because we knew it was close to the 14-day period. We explained the situation, we said there was a blockage, the vets are going to operate, would we be covered? And they told us we would. So we're quite relaxed, the operation went ahead, and we thought, that's it.
But a few weeks later, the insurance company told Kevin it wouldn't pay out after all, because the vet's notes showed that Cooper's symptoms started within the first 14 days of the policy. Not only that, but it said because Cooper had been treated for a different blockage in his intestine previously, something Kevin had made clear when he took the policy out, this latest problem was considered a pre-existing condition which also wasn't covered.
All of a sudden we had to find £3,000 to pay the bill. It was hard.
Over to Martyn, and he thinks Kevin might well have a case.
Now, this is really, really important. In speaking to the insurer, it's not your responsibility to have to know what they're thinking. They have to ask you questions in order for you to be able to give honest answers. So the fact that you've spoken to them and explained about their pre-existing conditions, that's your insurer's opportunity to ask you about anything else, like recent treatment, is the dog ill at the moment? I personally don't feel the insurance company have been very fair here. They're the ones who've advised you to go ahead, and they're also the ones who should have flagged up if they had any concerns about Cooper's health before the policy started.
Martyn believes the insurers should have made the policy's restrictions much clearer when Kevin rang to check that Cooper was covered for the operation, a point he thinks Kevin has every right to push them on.
The good news is, those phone calls that you made, there should be records of them, and that should give an indication as to what was advised and what they recommended, and get them to have another look at a complaint. But we also get a second crack at this, because pet insurance is regulated, so we can go to the Financial Ombudsman Service, which is free, and we can ask them to look into the complaint if the insurer isn't playing ball.
Martyn says because of a rise in pet insurance payouts, companies have been tightening up their rules, but this shouldn't put Kevin off from appealing again.
Because people are more likely to make claims on pet insurance, these policies have tightened up over the years, so it really does make sense to double-check, just like you did, what those terms and conditions are. Most importantly, Kevin, how is Cooper doing now?
He's absolutely fine, running around, tearing around, as though there's been no problem at all. So he's gone really well.
I'm really pleased. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Martyn.
Well, thank goodness Cooper's back to his old self.